guys, so if you're looking at the title, you're probably wondering what's sorority confessions and why I'm kind of upset about one thing. I love the site in general. I do love how it gives some sorority girls a chance to, say stuff that's on their mind and, say like, oh, I miss my chapter, I miss my sorority, I wish I was still active, or I wish that this would have gone as well as it I thought it would have gone, or it gives people a chance, like saying, I wish my little would talk to me more, or I wish my big would be around more, instead of, leaving me after choosing me, or something like that, instead of, it just gives people a chance to just say something anonymously, or you can probably say it with your username or whatever, but most of them are anonymous, because it's really, some of the stories are really sad, saying that I wish I could have done this, or I wish she would have done this for me, or it talks about like the conflicts within a sorority. It kind of gives the real side of sororities instead of what you see in movies or what you see on the surface. It kind of goes deeper. But this one confession really stood out to me. It came out last week. I don't remember when, but it came out and it was anonymous, and I just thought about this, and it was like, it definitely goes against the whole idea of that everyone could be beautiful, and that, that people, this confession just reiterates everything I say about people judging others, and how it gets to where people hate themselves because we have this unrealistic ideal. Okay, I'm gonna put the picture of the confession, because I saved it because I knew I was going to do a video on this. And I'm going to read it out loud too, so from this point on, I'm going to just say it and then say anonymous or something. Sometimes I wish the overweight sisters in my house would take better care of their bodies. Not that being in a sorority is all about looks, but for their overall health in general, I worry about them, and it's hard to hear them complain about being overweight, but not do anything to change it. Anonymous. Okay, first thing I saw was, I wish the overweight sisters in the house would take better care of their bodies. I just want to be like, how do you know that they're not working out or eating better? You're not with them 100% of the time. Yes, in sororities you have a meeting every week, you have events and things like that, but you're not with them all the time. You're not with them eating lunch or breakfast, or unless you live in the house, you're not with your sisters most of the time. Unless you do eat lunch with them or something like that, but unless you live in the house together, you're not going to see your sisters every second of the day. You're not going to know what they're eating, what they're doing in their free time. Some girls keep things private, like, I didn't really tell that many people, I was working out beginning of summer until classes started up and was taking my time, but I'm definitely going to start up again, but I wasn't telling people, hey, I'm working out, hey, I'm working out, hey, guess what? Sometimes sisters or girls just want to keep things private. You don't know if they're eating, this much or so little. That's why anorexia is such a big deal, because you never know when a girl isn't eating enough or anything like that. So if you just blast this saying you're overweight and you need to do something about it, you don't know if this girl already has eating disorders. Just because she's bigger doesn't mean that, she doesn't have problems, or she isn't, trying to do something about it. Just looking at someone and being like, okay, she's overweight, she's eating too much, or she's not doing anything. That's just something, that's a stereotype, and it needs to stop. And I just can't believe she wrote this on a public website, even though it's anonymous. I know it's anonymous, but you don't pinpoint girls saying because they look a certain way they should do something about it. These are your sisters. You go through so much with these girls, and you decide just all of a sudden just be like, okay, you're not representing this sisterhood well enough because you look like crap or something. You don't say that. These girls, it shouldn't matter what anyone else says about these girls, because you have a bond with them. It doesn't matter if someone thinks they're a certain way. You promise that you're going to always be there for your sisters, and that you'll always, cherish the sisterhood. But when you start saying, I wish they would do something about this, you're kind of saying, I love you, but And saying but kind of cancels out everything you said before. I love you, but I hate this thing about you. It just, oh, it just makes me so mad. And another thing she said is not that being in a sorority is all about looks. So it is part looks, at least where she is from. It's not all about looks, but it's generally, you know, what they base things on. It's not all about looks, but if you let yourself go, we're going to do something about it. You looked good when you first rushed, but now you're letting yourself go, so you need to do something about it. It's like, you're supposed to, you know, as that bond continues, you're supposed to, like, learn to love each other no matter what the difference is, or if we have problems. You can't just be like, but this, but that. We want you, but this. You have to either go all or nothing. This isn't kind of like a half friendship. This is something you devote your life, not devote your life to, but for the 4, 5, or 6 years you're in college, you devote a lot of time to this. And then after you graduate, you still become part of the alumni chapter. You still do things for these younger girls or girls who need help, but you can't just say, you were good at the beginning, but now, because you don't look the same, we can't love you the same way that we did when we first let you come into this. Another thing is saying that she cares for their overall health in general. Again, how does she not know these girls already have an eating disorder? Or that they're not trying to get thinner? I mean, not that being thin really means that you're healthier, but how does she not know that they're eating healthy? Or that they're exercising? And being healthy depends on a certain definition you may have. I think being healthy means mentally, not only physically, but mentally, and I think eating healthy is eating what you want, when you want, but not, you know, gorging yourself, I guess you can say. But, like, if you want a burger that day, eat a burger. If you want a salad, eat a salad. Don't try and do something and it's like, okay, I'm just going to eat salads, I'm going to keep myself from eating what I want, because then you're mentally making yourself sick because you're obsessing, and it just drives me crazy that people think, oh, I'm healthy because I'm thinner, but you might have mental things saying you can't eat this because you got to stay this weight, or that you're over-exercising, which is definitely too far for a healthy. And she says she worries about them. You worry about these girls who might not even have really said, oh, I'm gonna be so unhealthy, or I'm so unhealthy, I don't know what to do, or have they I don't know if they have said anything saying that, oh, I can't walk because my knees have too much pressure on them or something. They haven't, I doubt they've come up and said something health related that's caused by the excess weight on them. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with these girls, and I'm sure they're not overweight as in maybe my size, or like 500 pounds overweight or something like that. I'm sure these girls are only like 150 pounds. I'm sure they're size 14, 16. I'm sure they're not even that large, but because they're overweight, the normal weight of all these other sisters, is probably why they're being ostracized. And I think you should be able to take that diversity and embrace it, because not all the sororities are going to accept someone that's different. They want to keep an ideal, and this is just embracing that ideal of this false ideal that every sorority girl should be the same. And it's unfair that some girls don't get a chance to embrace this sisterhood and miss out in college because they're a certain size, and it shouldn't happen like that. It should be something that's equal. If you look in the past and look at the original founders of the sororities or fraternities for women, if you look in the past, like early 1900s, all those women were not stick thin. Just the founders for my fraternity for women, Georgina Potts was not thin, but I mean, today it's like you have to be this size. And she says it's hard to hear them complain about being overweight, but not do anything about it. What are they complaining about? Are they complaining about, oh, I can't fit into these clothes because I'm not that size? You ordered slim fit t-shirts? I can't fit into that. or you ordered shorts that I can't fit into, because in a lot of sororities they order things like t-shirts and shorts and things, and a lot of them do not come up above an extra large, and they can't special order them because they don't have them available. And if the girls are saying, I can't fit into that because I'm this certain size, it's not their fault. They could go to different companies and get the same shirts. They might be a little bit more expensive, but at least you know the girls can fit into them, or be able to show their pride in their sorority. But if they're complaining about the clothes you're ordering and saying, this isn't going to fit me, or I can't wear that because this will make my chest hang out, because they do wear those little tank tops where it's like nothing but a thin fabric. If they say that, then it's not their fault. It's how their bodies are made. You can't just say, oh, they complain about their bodies. No, it's because you're ordering the wrong things. And even if you had to order a separate type of t-shirt or something like that just to compensate, at least show that you care enough to do that. Don't try and force them into something they can't do. Because I know I've been through a lot of that, at least in high school, where everyone wanted to wear like the same thing. Let's wear the same thing. We're going to wear the same thing. And it's like, I can't wear that because it doesn't come in my size. And it was so hard during like Powder Puff because we all had to wear the same uniform thing, but I couldn't fit into the shorts because they went into the junior section to get their little shorts, and I didn't get that size. I wouldn't fit in the largest size. So if that's the cause of their complaining, then it's not a complaint. It's something you should do out of courtesy for your sisters. I would definitely order different t-shirts if I knew that would happen. Like, oh, okay, these girls won't fit into them. Let's see if we can find a shirt that might have a thicker fabric or comes in a looser size, instead of like, okay, these girls can slim fit, but these girls can get the unisex t-shirts. I mean, it sounds bad that you have to do something like that, I guess, but it shows you care and that you actually want them to be equal. But if they're complaining, saying, oh, I don't look good in this, or gosh, my thighs are so big. Think about what they're in right now. They're surrounded by these thinner girls who are probably saying the same things, like, oh, I need to go work out. Oh, I need to go to the gym. Oh gosh, I can't do that. Like, I can't wear that. It makes my butt look big. Or if they're surrounded by that most of the time, which just sitting around girls in class, they say that a lot. And being around that, because you have meetings with these girls, you go to parties with these girls, you eat lunch with these girls, it's going to affect your mental image of yourself. You're going to think, oh gosh, if they're too fat, then what am I? If they have to work out, what do I have to do? If they're surrounded by this, like, most of the week, what do you think they're going to think? They're not going to think, oh, I'm just so pretty, I'm so perfect. They're going to think, hey, if these girls aren't happy, if they're not perfect, what am I? Am I worthless? If you say that these overweight girls should do something about it because you think they're, it's their fault that they're overweight, you're thinking you're just thinking so selfishly. You're thinking about how you look with these sisters around you. How do I look with these overweight girls as my sister? You're not thinking about their health. You're thinking about, oh, they're giving a bad image of this group of girls who work hard to keep this ideal image, when really they just want to be included into something that's so much larger than you. They want sisters, they want bonding, they want the chants, the cheers, they want everything that any sorority girl wants. But you're pushing them aside, saying that they're overweight. I wish they would do something about it. I do it for their health. When really, I'm sure there's nothing wrong with these girls. I bet they go to the same parties and dance around as much as they do. They do the philanthropy events where they run around and, flag football or whatever they do. And I think this one girl is just thinking about her own image instead of, embracing the different girls in this group. And I'm so ashamed to say that there's someone out there like that. I'm ashamed to say there's sorority girls out there who think like this, and I honestly can't believe it. And because we're supposed to The whole point of sororities is to, you know, embrace girls and bond and get to know other people that are not us, and to, you know, strive for so much more than what we already are. And I can't believe it's so much about image that we put off everything else just so we can party all the time, or just make sure we wear all these little cute outfits, because it's not about what we're going to do in the future anymore. It's about how do we look right now. How do people think of us right now, instead of how are people going to think about us after all of this? What's going to happen after we do all of these things? Will someone think, wow, they're really high achievers, or will they think, oh, it's just another judgmental girl? I don't want to be grouped into something like that, because I love all of my sisters. I love them so much, and when I transferred from one school to the other and I was in this new group, they accepted me and they embraced me and they told me they loved me, and I don't know what it would be like to be in a group where they don't say that and they're just like, you need to lose weight. I can't believe there's groups out there like that, and I hope this girl is ashamed for posting that, because I know if I was in a group like that, I would cry, because knowing that there's someone out there that could have been in any group, it could have been at any school, any sorority, and you might not even know if it was one of your sisters. I don't know how any of that, I don't understand how people can say stuff, post stuff like that. And what makes me even more sick is that people liked it, and it just, how can you do that? Like, how can you say, I love you, but, I know it's not marriage, I love you, but it's sister love. It's like saying to your mom or dad or something, I love you, but if you embarrass me, I'm ashamed of you. Can you tell someone, I love you, but I'm ashamed of you? I couldn't, because I couldn't even say it even if it was anonymous. So I don't know how this one sister can judge her own sisters and say, you're overweight, I worry about you, and I wish you would do something about it. I will link the website below. As you can tell, I got kind of emotional in this video, but I will link, because the website is great. I love how everyone can be so honest, but when someone says something like that and just decides to put it out there like no emotion, that just sickens me that someone could say that and post it. At least if you're going to say it, don't put it as anonymous. If you're going to say it, back it up, because I can't stand people who can't say something and back it up. So please, if you're the one who submitted that, can you please tell us who you were, because I can't believe you would say something about your sisters even though they probably love you as you are. Just going to put that out there. So I will link it below. If you have any comments or anything like that, please, I would love to hear them. If you're going to say something saying that I'm wrong or something like that, fine, go ahead and put it out there. But I want to ask you that. Would you say that you love someone but you want them to change? Just putting that there. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.